Abhi, where are you located in Delhi?
Delhi.
Hmm.
You're in Bangalore, right?
Hmm.
Cool. एक सेकंड बस ट्विटर पे डालता हूँ देन वी स्टार्ट. Cool. So I guess we're live now. So hey guys, what's up? Today I'm with Om Malviya, president of Tezos India, and we're going to talk about the Tezos space and what role does Tezos India play to foster that ecosystem in India. And they've got an awesome fellowship coming up for anybody who's interested in like getting into development on Tezos. So we'll go through all of that today. So get ready. It's going to be an exciting one today. Yeah. So hi Om. Would you like to go ahead and just introduce yourself?
Sure, sure. Thanks for the introduction, Manan. First of all, happy to be here. I am Om, president of Tezos India Foundation, and at Tezos India, what we do is our goal basically consists of three things. The first is educate. Second is educate, and then community meetups, and then third, mainly it's all of these things are. And third is partnership, basically where partner with different. Uh, Organizations, startups, universities, and basically it ends up being more adoption for Tezos, right?
Right.
So that's the end goal. Uh, Now, a little bit about Tezos India is that you can see the name Tezos in front of it. So Tezos is a open source, decentralized platform. It's a blockchain where on top of it you can build smart contracts powering your decentralized applications. And there are specific reasons why I'm into Tezos and why I like Tezos. And then there has been an entire journey how I ended up starting Tezos India, right? But just for the brief, I've been in the blockchain space in India for last 5 to 6 years. It's from even before the ICO boom started,
Yeah.
and then there was a crypto winter, and then there's another something else, something XYG is going on right now. Um, and then it was around the time of like 5 to 6 years when I started diving deep into blockchain. I wanted to understand more technologically what happens behind the scenes. And then whatever I was learning, I just started writing into a blog. That blog later on became one of the most popular blockchain media. It's still well maintained by its team. And then at some point of time in 2017, when I was writing about all these different blockchains or the technologies, how proof of stake was going to be the future, I I found out Tezos. So just because I was into writing blogs, I also wrote a blog about Tezos, and
Right.
then I got into this rabbit hole. I started learning more about how exactly it works, because that time the concept of a self-amending ledger and on-chain governance and proof of stake itself was such a huge thing that people were like, oh, I don't think they are going to do it, I don't think they will be able to make it, right? But
Right.
I got more into it, and I really got a feeling that this Tezos project, it's gonna pull it off the first time proof of stake in the most successful way, right? And then I sort of I wasn't too much involved in Tezos at that point of time. I got into something else, and after a year, I met one of my co-founder, and then again one of our discussion point was about Tezos, and it's it's uh, it's from that point that I got more into Tezos more and more and more, because there was first time when I heard about Tezos, and then there was second time, and when the second time I heard about Tezos, I was like, I can't believe that within a year they have achieved this much of things technologically, right? Which we thought was impossible at one point of time.
Right.
So Tezos really pioneered proof of stake space, not in a and without compromising decentralization, security, and also building one of the most modular and amendable blockchain out there. Yeah, that was my journey into so Tezos. And since then I've been very actively involved in the Tezos community, Tezos ecosystem. One of my own startup or project is also built on top of Tezos. And then I was curious and crazy about one thing at that point of time, it was Tezos. And after a year, 1.5 year, I got crazy about the blockchain ecosystem in India, because I started to see that this is going to explode. You know, the number of developers that are increasing in India, this is going to be huge. And as being a Tezos fanatic, I didn't want. I wanted to really introduce the Tezos to India, to to first of all my friends, to everybody I know, and then entire Indian developer community. That if you are building on blockchain, Tezos should be the one you should look for, because
Right.
it's really it's really gonna get your attention. So that was the reason, one of the reason I started Tezos India. I saw a right opportunity, I saw a right time, and I saw that within couple of years, India is gonna lead the blockchain race. You know, it is gonna be the one of the biggest ecosystem in terms of crypto and blockchain space,
And that's
regardless
starting to
of
happen.
regardless of regulations and whatever parts were going on.
Right. So,
Right.
like, out of all the reasons why you mentioned that you like got into Tezos, the one that I find the most interesting and like the most exciting one is on-chain governance. Like, a lot of people undervalue this trait of it, that it's completely upgradable by just on-chain interaction. Like the whole voting process, all of it, the consensus to upgrade the protocol, all of it happens on the chain. A lot of
Yeah.
other blockchains that upgrade, they require a hard fork, which means like deploying a completely new version of it through social consensus, through off-chain consensus. But like Tezos manages to do it completely on-chain, which is like crazy when you think about it. It's, I
Yeah.
think, the
Yeah.
first one in this space, to be honest.
Yeah, it is the first one. It has pioneered the proof of stake and on-chain governance in the most amazing way. I mean,
And its proof of
and
stake is also liquid, which is
yeah,
not
it's
the case for
incredible.
most blockchains.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been stressing this so much for last 2 to 3 years to everybody I know. So all the everybody in my peers, that you really need to look into it. But it's people were not curious or not enthusiastic about proof of stake like 3 years ago, if I talk from my personal experience. Now
Right.
ETH 2.0 is going to come. They're going to have staking, and
Their
so
staking is not actual staking, to be honest,
yeah,
from what
and
I've
people, and now
learned.
everybody wants to talk about staking. Everybody wants to
Yeah.
take something. But we have been doing actual staking. I've been going into Delhi, Gurgaon, Bangalore, doing workshops, meetups, and literally educating people about proof of stake in Tezos, how it works. And I mean, I'm not saying nothing happened. A lot of good results came out of it. A lot of people got aware about proof of stake. It also created a lot more awareness, not only for Theos but general proof of stake community. But when the more deep you go into proof of stake, and the more deep you go into Theos, you just start to see how amazing and effectively it works in Theos. I mean,
Right.
you can. What I advise usually people is just try staking on all the different blockchain, whatever you like, for whatever reasons, and then try on Tezos and try to understand it more. If you only got what could you, if you got any questions, just ask me and I'll tell you why this is so amazing. On-chain
Right.
governance. When we are talking about on-chain governance, Tezos is the only one. I mean, the founder of Polkadot, Gavin Wood, accepts himself. He has recently said that nobody is doing it in such a way that Tezos is doing it. Tezos is doing it in the most awesome way, the on-chain governance part. Right now, we are having Granada going on, which is, I guess,
Right.
seventh upgrade. And if you think of it, within such a limited amount of time, the blockchain has been upgraded. Upgrading for 7 times, it's just unbelievable. And
And
then,
with Granada upgrade, we like first time saw how effective like on-chain governance actually is for issues that are really contentious. And because like there was a lot of debate around Granada, and you could like see the whole like debate and the community governance process like on-chain completely. So it was pretty inspiring to see like actual politics, but on the chain,
yeah,
because
and
that's what
the
it
other
was.
yeah, and the other thing is, see, it's that's why on-chain governance matter. You can have a lot of different opinions, but all of those different opinions can be brought into a social consensus using an on-chain mechanism, right? So here also there can be there can be a lot more debates about what upgrade to do and what not to do, but all of this process doesn't require a hard fork, right? You can vote for it if you want. If there is a super majority, it will get activated. The system is decentralized enough, right? So there is nothing like, okay, so one centralized party comes into the picture and takes away the entire direction of the project. So if you really, and these are kind of the systems or network which can scale up to, for 1 billion users, if you want to look at that way. And that's why I think
Right.
it's really amazing. And not only Granada, I mean, I've been seeing the upgrades since the first upgrade, since the Athens, and then the Babylon came, then the Carthage, Delphi, Edonet, Florence, Granada, right? So, and it's a blockchain. So in my experience, a blockchain needs a certain amount of time to get through all the hurdles, or to get through all the any potential limitation
Right.
in performance. Because right now what we are seeing, there are a lot of blockchains out there. They are 6 months old, they are 1 month old, they are 1 year old, but nobody has gone through a battle tested environment. Tezos has been battle tested since last 3 years.
Yeah.
There was Babylon, which brought a lot of huge changes. If you like, for example, in initial days of Tezos, if you wanted to delegate, you had to first transfer your funds into a smart contract address, which is manager address KT1,
Yeah.
starts with KT1, and then you would delegate, right? The block height instruction of in Mickelson that recently came into Adoret, and I mean, the BFS DFS change also recently came into Florence. So it takes a certain time. They've realized what works, what doesn't work, which is what is important for security and decentralization, and then it evolves instead of just putting all of these things together within a minute of time. And then sometimes your blockchain is offline. Sometimes you have to do hot fixes. Yeah,
That happens. And it's still improving, and like that's what's beautiful about it. That will keep on improving throughout time. Like in the Granada upgrade, we are cutting down block time from 1 minute to 30 seconds. That's a very
yeah,
significant upgrade. And like people are expecting for block time to go even further down in like next few upgrades, basically.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so that's the amazing thing about Tezos. And see, and it is all happening, with the sync of the community, the developer ecosystem, entire ecosystem, right? For example, we are seeing an increased amount of activity on Tezos these days.
Right. It's like
This is
super
the
high.
Yeah, this is the time when we need block times to be reduced, and there is a lot of activity going on, and that's coming within just a matter of 2 months, even less than that.
Yeah.
For example, the gas issue has been on Ethereum for almost a year or more than that, maybe, but
Yeah.
something is still supposed to come, right? But in Tezos, let's say if you are facing an issue right now, maybe that is already being fixed within a month, or within a week. You don't know, it's already being worked on. And that's the dynamics of on-chain governance. You are always having this improvements and upgrades going on with backward compatibility, so that it doesn't break
Right.
your application as of now, and only keeps improving whatever you are building more and more and more. And that brings a lot of value for your project, for your developer efforts that you are putting. If you're working so much, if you're putting so much of efforts into development, that also, in some sort of in some way, it's very rewarding.
Right. And what I would think is like the difference in the Tezos ecosystem from last year to now is like the dev tooling has like really matured over time. Like I can point out differences from just past like 6 months ago and now, like in terms of how much the smart contract language has improved, how much Beacon has improved, which is like the library used to connect to different wallets through a front end application, right?
Mhm.
So like the dev tooling and documentation is also slowly getting to the point where the barrier to entry of developing on Tezos is getting really low. So we are seeing like a lot of new dapps being launched throughout, basically.
Yeah, no, that is true, because see, to getting the infrastructure, dev tooling, everything right, in my opinion, it takes certain amount of time. You have to do everything in the best way, in the best practices, what developers want, in that way. You can't just copy paste what others are doing and just replicate it in your way. You have to do it in your own way. And when we are talking about Tezos, which is fundamentally different from other blockchains, it's built on the idea of decentralization, security, formal verification, proof of liquid proof of stake, on-chain governance. And then still, if you would look into other ecosystems, I mean, I'm a very curious person, so I keep looking into all the different things, from time to time. And I found that the tooling and infrastructure that we have in Tezos, it's really mature. You basically have a library for every other language. You have tools for not one tool. I mean, you have two different tools for every other thing that you want to try. If you want to try out just a JavaScript library, you have Consul.js, you have Taquito. If you want language, there are multiple language with multiple syntaxes, right? And they're all properly well maintained. And even if you get into any doubts, the community is like one click away. They are just always
Community
happy.
is next
It's just
level.
one click, right? And these are the core ingredients that you need to make a very lively uh, blockchain ecosystem itself. And at the end, it's all about the happy path. If it's a happy path for developer, if it's a happy path for users, they are going to want to be there and use whatever applications and whatever services are built on top of that network or blockchain. Right.
Right.
Yeah. So that's been really amazing on Tezos, and I can't be more excited about how Tezos is evolving and bringing so much of ease of access for both developers and users with time.
And one other great thing I've noticed in the Tezos ecosystem is that the dev tooling is such that it's like open to people of like very different backgrounds. Like if you're
Hmm.
just somebody in college who knows Python, you can pick up SmartPy and like write contracts in a language that looks very similar to Python. It's essentially like built on top of Python syntax called SmartPy. If you come from like a functional background, you can just pick up Lego, any flavor of Lego. There are like three different, you can pick up what you like. And then like there's another language called Archetype, which is like a more uh, academic focused language. So like it's catering to a lot of different audiences, but the thing is it's catering to a lot of different audiences on a higher level of abstraction. All of those
Hmm.
languages compiled down to one, so like there's no issues of compatibility or something like that. It's just that you're writing in a language and then it gets converted down to Michelson, which runs on Tezos. So like it avoids a lot of compatibility or like issues that you would have if you had multiple native languages for the blockchain.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, the tooling is sometimes just so awesome. I can't even believe on. So, for example, I use Better Call Dev a lot. Now, whenever
Same.
I go to different blockchains and I have to use some xygscan.com, I'm like, what is why am I using this? Why it's not like that? It's so detailed. How you get to see the every internal flow of the transaction, every in such a nice way. So sometimes, so Tedos is not only about doing things better than others. It is truly innovative at the sense, at the core. It's not like, okay, I'm picking something from there and putting something together. It's more the innovations at core of the Tezos is something that I really like. For example, you can look at the tooling. Some of the toolings are that when people are building tooling on Tezos, they are not looking at some references or something. They are looking at what makes sense, what makes the life of a developer easy, right?
And there
And
are
even
very smart people working in this space who are like coming
yeah,
out with awesome tools.
and yeah, and you can't, yeah, that's something I'm really excited about. For example, SmartPy, it makes your life so much easier. And then the way it is handling everything in the back end and converting everything in Mickelson, there are some really great team involved which are making which are dedicated to make the life of a developer easier. And that's what essentially you need, right?
True.
And then also, while keeping the security intact, the decentralization intact, and making sure that you don't end up writing some bad code. And then also, I mean, there are so many things on Tezos that can help you to write secure code, right? So
Right.
yeah, that's something truly amazing on that I've experienced from Tezos.
Yeah, I think we've made it like very clear why we love Tezos. And I see a couple of questions about the fellowship. So I think we can talk about that now. Like, tell me
Yeah.
about like what's the Tezos India Fellowship about?
Yeah, yeah, no, really. So yeah, I can keep going on talking about Tezos for hours, but
Same
yeah.
here, man.
So yeah, Tezos India Fellowship. It was an idea that came to us last year. So Tezos India has been, up and running since almost end of 2019, and we have done a couple of community meetups. Our end goal was to target the huge developer community that is in India, which is only growing by the time. And then the second thing we wanted to target is the people, the enthusiastic and the enthusiastic and people who has a hunger of learning new technologies and new things, which are into all these universities and the colleges, who just want to learn something, who just want to do something in their free time. And that is a huge number of people in India. And
Right.
then there are also a lot of people who are really great developers. They are doing their jobs, but that's the segment that we wanted to target the most. And then we came across a program called Google Summer of Code, and we found out that everybody is crazy about it, right? It's
True.
like a benchmark, it's like a brand. And then we wanted to create something on sort of that theme, that we wanted to create a benchmark program, something like a brand, which just which is like, which gets people talking, like, hey, did you get selected for Theos India Fellowship, something like that, did you get selected for Google Summer of Code, right? And we had limited resources for the first time. Last year we had limited resources. We wanted to pull this off, so that's how we started Tezos India Fellowship. Now, Tezos India Fellowship is something which is, you can say, sort of pre-accelerator. So if you want to start your entrepreneurial journey, if you want to be a really great developer, if you want to start your career in the blockchain industry, that's it caters to all these three needs. It's a very highly curated 8 weeks program where you are where the mentors and the entire team really makes you work for like 40 hours a week. It's almost like an employee. It requires you to put a lot of efforts. It requires you to put it requires you to give your best. And then it's up to us that we mold you into a really amazing great developer, or we help you building your entire product idea from scratch to the production grade level, right? To just give an example, last year we had 10 fellows who were selected after a lot of interview rounds and a lot of selection procedures. 9 out of 9, all 9 of them are working in Tezos ecosystem one way or another. Two ideas that were in the fellowship were funded and supported with the amount of grant up to $10,000, and they are going to launch in, I guess, within next 1 to 2 months. And when they are going to launch, they are going to be super amazing. And then all the other fellows, they are still working with some Tezos team, or they got hired by some Tezos team, and working in this very lively ecosystem in one way or another. So I would say for each one of them, it turned out to be really great. Only that one guy who isn't in Tezos ecosystem anymore, he's also got it really best in his career. So it really shapes you as a person, it shapes you as an individual, it shapes you as a developer, and shapes you as an entrepreneur. That's the kind of program it is. This year we are increasing the batch size to 30, but this year we are also thinking something for the people who might not get selected. So let's say we have gotten like 3,000 till now, 3,000 applications, which is huge, and the selection ratio is only going to be like 0.1%. But
Right.
uh, taking on account the enthusiasm and the energy we are seeing from all these applicants, we are also thinking more developer activities, so that these people who are enthusiastic about Tezos, who are enthusiastic about fellowship, they can try to build something on Tezos and they can get rewards or get incentivized for building that, and then they can start their journey to maybe get selected in the fellowship next year, or
Right.
maybe or maybe get involved in the Tezos ecosystem in one way or another, right? So there are a lot of activities in plan. So what I would recommend everybody, each one of you who is very excited about blockchain, who wants to build it big, who wants to take, who is ready to take the challenges, apply for Tezos India Fellowship, and I'm sure everybody is gonna get something out of it, right?
Definitely. I'll
Um,
just put the link for the fellowship over here. Yeah.
yeah, sure, please. And yeah, this
That
this is gonna. I'm really excited about this year's program. Let's see what ideas are gonna come into picture. Let's see what people are gonna bring. And I personally feel very proud when I meet a developer who is a very initial stage, who is a lot of hunger to learn. And by the end of the program, he's building the entire production grade application himself. He's just on adrenaline, and he's just boosted so much that he's ready to take on the journey further and ready to take on the path that is Theos India fellowship brings for it. So yeah, that was the brief about it. It's an 8 week challenge, requires a lot of hard work. There are going to be a lot of mentors. There is always going to be a tech support, always going to be people who are going to solve your doubts. One of them is going to be Manan. And then
I'm really looking forward to helping a lot of people
yeah,
build
yeah,
these
and yeah,
systems.
we really appreciate, man. So this is something that makes and binds us as a community. What I feel and what I want is, within next couple of months and next couple of years, Tezos, the Indian community of the Tezos is gonna be the one leading, the most number of innovative projects, the most, not only the blockchain ecosystem, not only Tezos ecosystem, but entire crypto industry and blockchain ecosystem forward, right?
Right.
And yeah, I'm really looking forward to how this comes to life.
All right. So one question we have is like, does somebody like really need to be a pro for applying for the
No,
fellowship in app development?
no. So what usually we require is a really good Web 2.0 skills, right? So, and first of all, and then the thing is, whenever you apply, see, we go through all the applications very carefully. This is the time when we are reviewing application, we give most of our times, right? And we have asked you in the application form, we have asked you specific questions, which really makes us realize, how much this person can pull off. So first of all, if you let's say you rate yourself in JavaScript out of if you rate yourself only 1 out of 5, only write 1 out of 5, because that's just something, that's a that's just a waste of time. We just want you to be honest, we just want you to be true. You tell us what you know, and you tell us what you don't know, and then you tell us what you want to learn. So what we are going to do is we are going to polish whatever what you already know, which, let's say, Web 2.0. We are going to polish your burn stack. And then there is, let's say, blockchain part. You don't know about it, or you only know a little bit. That's where we are going to put more of our efforts and going to groom you into a person who knows all of these things. There's going to be uh, plenty of time. There's going to be like 8 weeks, and we are going to run a lot of workshops. They're going to be dedicated mentors who you can always ask. We are going to be available for you guys to learn as much as you want. So what we are looking for is good developers, good problem solvers, to be honest. Good problem solvers, and who has a good amount of knowledge of Web 2.0. If you already know about blockchain, even conceptually, theoretically, development wise, that's good, right? But we have also seen the cases where someone knows a lot of about blockchain, but the basic Web 2.0 skills are not that great. The concepts are not that great. So sometimes we had to, with heavy heart, reject the application. So so it always comes down to that you are conceptually strong, you are a really good Web 2.0 developer, how things are being done, and then the blockchain part is leave that to us. And
Right.
again, that's what I say. To start with the blockchain part, what we are recommending everyone is to maybe do a course on cryptocodeschool.in, or maybe we will also try to send out all the applicant some other resources if they are interested. That is obviously going to give you some sort of additional advantage if you already are familiar with Tezos. Not necessarily, but might be.
Awesome. So just to address this one, so if you want to know why we think Tezos is so great, just like watch first 20 minutes of this live when it's over, because that's all we talked about during that time, to be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there are a lot of perks, right? I can't. Yeah.
Next level. All right. This one. So this is like slightly unrelated, but if you want to take this up.
What's your opinion on proof of history? Yeah, so see, proof of history, I guess project like Solana is doing that.
Yeah.
But I'm not too much of fan of, let's say proof of history or this new things which are not better tested yet or not been there for a long time. And to be honest, I haven't even read too much about proof of history. But I'm sure if I'm gonna read about it, I'm just gonna be more I'm gonna be assured that okay, proof of stake is better. But see, uh, a lot of things matter when we are talking about these new technologies, because from coming from 2017, right, from 2016 and 17 period, if you ask anyone, that's what it was all like. There every day there was new white paper. Somebody is talking proof of authority, somebody is talking proof of history. 10 different projects are talking proof of stake. Somebody is talking proof of mining of something, some proof of XYZ, right? But I've been for last couple of years been largely focused on proof of stake only and proof of work. So can't give my opinion on proof of history, but I've developed some understanding of how other ecosystem works. So uh, yeah, proof of history technologically wise I can't. But yeah, if you have any other questions like why uh, let's say projects who are building on proof of history are doing not doing as good as how Tezos is doing, then I can take that question and maybe tell you on a well-rounded answer that how from ecosystem wise, technologically wise, and the developer adoption and the user adoption, how it's all coming together in Tezos only. I know that doesn't answer your question, but yeah, I'm also, not that much. I haven't dived that much deep into proof of history for now, and that's what I'm saying. Also,
Cool.
so I used to do a lot of, proof of work, proof of history, all these innovative concepts that used to come in 2017. And then I found proof of stake, and I started diving really deep into it. What makes proof of stake work, and I think even right now there is so much to learn in proof of stake for me that I'm still going deep and deep into proof of stake only.
So, like, I guess then you're the right person to address this issue that a lot of people have with proof of stake. I think a lot of people just call it an algorithm where the rich get richer, but like, I don't see the logic behind that. So, what's your take on that? So, like, to just give everybody a brief on how proof of stake works is basically there's a set of validators. Like there are miners in Bitcoin, which works on proof of work. In proof of stake, there are a set of validators, and then there's a subset of validators that get selected to actually like produce blocks on the blockchain. And how it's selected, who becomes like selected in the set of validators that can produce block is how many like is by the amount of like currency that is being staked on them by other currency holders. So I,
Mhm.
as like a person in the Tezos ecosystem, will choose to delegate my Tezos to a specific baker. So validators are called bakers and Tezos, to a baker, and like uh, basically the amount of Tezos that is delegated to them selects which one gets selected. So like that's a basic history, and like basically why would you want to delegate your currency is that you like earn a stable interest like return on that periodically.
Hmm. Yeah, so for proof of stake, there's a lot of things that you can take into account. First of all, rich get richer is more applicable on Bitcoin than Tezos. If you want to start Bitcoin mining right now, you would need, I don't know, thousands of dollars, right? If you want to start baking on Tezos, all you need is 8,000 days, and you need just, a simple finely working laptop. That's it.
Like people are baking on Tezos through a Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, it's that easy. So the rich
Yeah.
gets richer in proof of stake. So in proof of stake, yeah, that is something that if you have more stake, you are more likely to get block rewards. But that's where a lot of fundamental things come into the picture. The other thing that also comes into the picture is the how is the wealth distribution of a network, right? So let's say you are trying to create a proof of stake network, and top 1% of address holds 99% of tokens, then it's not proof of stake. Or
Right.
either you have a network where you only have 21 validators, that is also some sort of centralization comes into the
That
picture.
is peak centralization.
That speaks centralization. And then you have a very brilliant proof of stake, amazing, it works amazingly. You have, let's say, proof of stake or proof of tree, and three types of different algorithms. But then just to run a node, I have to literally sell my house. So
Yeah.
maybe not sell my house, but let's say, I have to move to a different house to pay less than. That's also not feasible. That so what we are it always depends upon design of a blockchain, what they are focused on. Tezos is more focused on decentralization and security, right? And you get decentralization if barrier to entry to participate in your network is really low. And Tezos does that by two ways. First of all, it requires very low minimum requirement for running a node or running a baker. You can run it on a laptop if you and I've tried it multiple times. It works smoothly. And the second thing is how much amount you require to be a baker, right? Currently it's 8,000 Tezos, but it used to be
Right.
it used to be 10,000 Tez. Now it's 8,000 Tez, and with on-chain upgrade you can even reduce it further down to 5,000 Tez, as the blockchain evolves. So these are the things that make sure that rich doesn't get richer, right? And it's not about rich getting richer. It's more about
Got it.
uh, how many people are participating in the network. For example, I don't have the perfect images, but there are two images. Maybe you can find them out on Google. The day when Tezos mainnet was launched, you would see most of the validators was, only 5 or 8 validators. Most of the share was and then all the people who had Tezos, who had bought Tezos, they started delegating themselves, and then the network started getting distributed automatically, right? And now, even now, if let's say tomorrow 1,000 new validators gets added into the system with, let's say, small amount of stake, and they are running a baker, network will keep getting more decentralized. So more number of validators are there, more
Right.
decentralized it will get. And why it will get more decentralized? Because it's really, even a 12-year student can be a baker. It's that easy to be on Tezos. He just needs his
I
laptop
mean, I
and this.
recently saw that somebody who was like traveling a lot, like they were driving a lot, like a long drive, like spanning multiple days. That guy continued to run his validator node on the backseat of his car with just like a very low grade CPU and a power source.
Yeah,
How crazy
yeah,
is
these are.
that?
Yeah, right. And that's what you require basically. So, and a lot of people don't realize, but this is the most this is, one of the crucial requirement for your network to be sufficiently decentralized, so that it lowers the barrier to entry for everyone.
Right. Awesome. That was a great answer to that. So, this seems like an interesting question that we could take up. So, do you have any suggestions on how people from non-tech background can get involved in the blockchain ecosystem, and what opportunities do you see arising in the Tezos ecosystem?
Hmm. So for non-tech background, it's there's a lot of things that people say it's hard for non-tech people to get involved into the ecosystem, but it's not that hard. What you need is you just need some theoretical understanding of how things work, and these are very basic. Now these days they are, standards that you need to know, very basic
Right.
requirements. Like you need to know, first of all, you always need to know how Bitcoin works, then what is proof of stake, what is proof of work, and then, just the basic things, that what are smart contracts, what are decentralized applications. You don't need to know for technical standpoint, you just need to know how they work. That's it. For example, if I'm building, let's a lending platform on Tezos, then I just need a fair understanding of how this is decentralized, in what way this is decentralized. It's just a visualization of these elements you need to know. And then in the ecosystem, the opportunity wise, there are immense amount of opportunities. There are so many crypto job boards now. The amount of capital, the venture capital and the institutional capital that is flowing in the crypto ecosystem is, huge. If you recently, you can see the Anderson Horowitz fund raised like $2 billion
Correct.
just to invest into cryptocurrency. cryptocurrency, and they had already raised 500 billion and other funds before. Even in India, you are seeing traditional VCs like Sequoia and all the other VC firms investing into cryptocurrencies and blockchain networks. You are seeing people like Mark Cuban, traditional investor, investing into cryptocurrency. So there's a lot of capital flowing into this ecosystem, and if you navigate your way through it, you are definitely going to find a lot more opportunities. Now, for the Tezos ecosystem, even in Tezos ecosystem, there are a lot of opportunities for everybody who is interested. For example, for any students in universities who wants to take charge and be the campus ambassador, or the one who shares knowledge about Tezos, we are supporting that. And if you are, and we at Tezos India, we are more about coordination. We are more about coordinating our efforts, aligning efforts and activities from all the other part of the world, all the other organization who are enabling Tezos adoption. And in that way, if you have, let's say if anybody who is experienced in certain way, we can, connect the dots and connect you to the right person, that this is how this opportunity can be advantageous for you. But overall, if I had to tell you about blockchain opportunities, there are a lot of opportunities. For example, you can go to Coinbase and check out careers in India. In India itself, they are hiring for so many positions, right? You can go to let's say CoinDCX. They are also hiring a lot in India. You can go to CoinSwitch. They are also hiring a lot in India. So even in India itself, you go to these places, you can see how many opportunities are there. And then you have so many job portals. Even if you go and try on LinkedIn or any other, I'm seeing these days an increased amount of job posting in terms of people who have understanding of cryptocurrency or blockchain. Even just, and I'm talking more on the non-technical side, right? And these will keep increasing only. So yeah, that's what I would say. First, you need to, but before that, you go into that interview, before you tap into that opportunity, you need to have sufficient knowledge of, you need to take those steps. You can't avoid any steps, that how Bitcoin works. And you should try a Bitcoin transaction yourself. You should try decentralized application yourself, with having some Tezos in your account. Try to play with some application, and you'll develop some understanding of it. You don't need to know how code works. You just need to know how the processes work, how the underlying systems work, and then you're good to go.
Right.
Hello.
I think. Hello.
Hello. Yeah, it's better now.
Hello. Yep. I
Hello.
think I just lost connection for a second. Yeah. So I think we have covered most of the
Yeah.
things that we wanted to. Is there anything that you would want to add on before we
Mainly, I
end?
would like to end this with the note that all of you people who are watching this, if you have any questions, any doubts, go to tejosindia.org.in and contact us through the contact us forum. We always reach out. We will always reach out to you. And the second thing is all the enthusiastic and hungry developers who wants to build something, who wants to start their journey in this space, do check out this India Fellowship. Please apply there. There's going to be something for each applicant, and we are going to keep bringing you more and more developer activities around Tezos, so that you can be involved into this ecosystem, and you can learn about blockchain, learn about Tezos, and you can get something rewarding out of it. That's all I want. That's all I want to say. And
Right.
thanks a lot, and also for having me. It's been a great conversation. It was really fun to talk with you. And yeah, really look forward to all the cool things that you do in the Tezos ecosystem, and all the cool projects that you're gonna bring.
Thanks, man. And yeah, it was awesome to have you on. And your team has been building some really cool stuff as well. So props on that. And Yeah, that's it for today, guys. I hope all of you who are able to apply for Tezos India Fellowship, because it's an awesome program. And hit me up on Twitter if you want to learn more about Tezos and understand where you can start. I'll be happy to have. That's for today. Bye bye.